Welcome everyone to another video. This is what if civilization started over, to human scenario, episode 4. And as you can see, a lot has happened. We have sapiens in the Sinai and Egyptian lands, as well as some Jerusalem areas. Well, Jerusalem would be like right here, so kind of different area. But I have added a few things. As you can see, there's a dot here. If we go in, there's a very weird dot. And if we go here, it's still a dot, but it's a unique dot. And it's unique in the way that this is a ship from another dimension, to be honest. It's a ship from another universe. A universe bubble, to be exact. So I won't tell you how this got here, but it's buried under the sands, and as we'll come to see, it's in the unknown areas. There's a few waters scattered around. There's if we have one in Sahara, we have one over here in and around Suriname, and we have also a minor ship in Greenland. And then another one of those red things is all the way down here in the middle of Antarctica. I know, it's kinda weird. And there should be another one. I don't remember where I put it. To be honest, I put them in like very random spots. So it should be somewhere, but I don't know where. Maybe in Australia or something. But let's get into the video, and as we can see, today we're focusing on the Africans, who are currently making a lot of complaints towards each other. And one of those complaints is when this guy started to send some people to over here, or have people move into these areas because these aren't taken, and well, it has good population, aiding areas for food or habitation and all of that. The guy next to them over here was like, no, you stay right there. And they were like, nope, we're just gonna move up here because we can, and nobody's gonna stop us. And what happened was that this guy quickly went and sorry for a bit of a weird thing that's going to happen here, but it made a border for itself right along the river, only to kind of go over the border. And this ethnicity is about to show why it's considered this area's deadliest people. Because these people kind of hate everyone for what everyone did to them. Well, everyone who was around them, that is. And everyone who still is around them, they kind of hate. And they do this. They have become one of the largest ethnicities. We have Somalia. The Somalian ethnicity does some stuff that is questionable, but some of its people integrate into these areas, making this weird border. But that's what defines these people. They have a pretty weird border between each other. They are okay with it. But we're not gonna only focus on these guys. We're gonna focus on these two as well, and some European expansion, or the migration into Europe, as I can call it. Right now we're going to have this event play out, as these people who are moving here trigger people from all across the regions over here to move in. Most of these are either coastal or kind of inland areas that wanted to move in. Sorry for the ping that I got. Well, not ping, it was kind of a just ding that you might have heard, but if you did, then I'm sorry. If you didn't, well, it's alright. And as we can see, a lot of these people started to move in because there's now land discovered. And one of these people, this darker blue one up here, immediately went and suffocated the one below them. That is now the one ethnicity that is below theirs. as they say it themselves. It's not below in like ethnicities, but it is smaller, and it actually managed to send some people over here to connect up. But these guys sent a lot of people over here and took this over. So yeah, this is kind of weird. But this blue guy was like, no, this is our land, and yeah, we will do something called ethnic relocation, meaning, yeah, they do that. They do the bad stuff. They do a lot. But as you can see, they are closer to these borders than anyone else. I think this guy's, yeah, this is also closer. But we'll quickly show. I'm gonna show you guys something that happens in the Oceanian thing. So we have this, not Oceanian. I'm sorry. This Indian Ocean African South African nation or ethnicity do some separation from each other in the form that it actually kind of blows up in on itself. We have these 5 pockets becoming their own ethnicities that actually are one ethnicity. These are known as the breakaway coasties. And these South African guys, yes, these guys are South African now. They are just South African. They are South African. Now, this ethnicity was one of the biggest before, but due to this large ethnic divide, which came at 2 things, these things started to take like language from this guy, the green guys, this pink and brown guy ethnicities. Sorry, and they mashed them together with their own coasties language. And they got this very weird language, and they got a new culture from it too, because they started to believe in not only one culture, they started to have this kind of cultural divide that over time would prove itself to be not that good of well, for them at least. And as we can see over here, this is their lands. So one of them directly borders the culture over here, and these 2 also border it. But they diverge their own culture from this, and this culture comes very, very weirdly to them. They are a very weird culture group. Each culture that pops up, I'll tell you guys real quick, is very good for these people. And as you can see, this guy is kind of on the brink of being a bit weird for itself, because how do I do this? This side of things believes in another. They have their own culture and their own everything, while this side is kind of a mix of things, but it's mostly the coasty culture, and these 2 kind of have beef over it, like who is who, what they do, and it kind of gets to the point that this ethnicity starts infighting, and eventually this brown culture started to win a few skirmishes, a few raids, and eventually it kind of just pushed its culture all the way over here. It then developed a large hate for the coasties for their envelopment of these areas. But for the coasties, it was a lot different, as they just they lost some of their own ethnic old lands that had their culture, but their culture kind of just went over into here. And as you can see, they have spread their culture. It's now gone up to here, but they're also enveloping this country I like to say country a lot, don't I? Con. I am a cunning little bastard. Cunning little bastard. I'm a little cunny bastard. Oh God. But we're going to see that, as you see, this guy has a lot of its people over here accustomed to this culture. And what do they do with it? Well, I'll just tell you what they'll do with it. Not that. That's definitely not what they do. They do this. And yeah, this is a bit weird seeing there's a very small gap in like, yeah. But as you can see, there's two little gaps. I know what the gaps are for. This guy. Wait, is there a smaller guy? Yep, there is a smaller guy. We're gonna deal with wait a minute. Wait a damn second. This is all of this. That means not that. This. Yay, it's not that anymore. It's not small anymore. It's big boy. Back to this. Yeah, this whole area takes on this culture, and these guys kinda spraying their own culture around because they're kinda doing it around these times. We'll see that the cultures of these two areas start to clash as well as this coasty culture, and eventually this coasty culture takes a hit as this culture is somehow more spread out than it first seemed, and this guy, it's a fight between these two for this area. But eventually we do see that some of these border areas start to actually abandon their own culture. They don't, like, this is gradual, it's over a few years and few generations, and eventually this is what becomes of the cultures. So there are 4 areas that kind of just take up this culture, and they have this culture as their own little culture. This area also loses its coasty culture. As you can see, the coasties are on a small decline, and this green culture is beginning to look a bit big. As we can see, it is, I don't know how big it is. 76, almost 77,000 square pixels. This is a lot less. That's concerningly small. And this, holy hell, holy hell, holy hell! Look at this. The blue guys kinda just changed up, and that's because these guys, they like this culture, but they also like this coasty culture. They don't like these guys because they're fighting their own ancestors, and well, not like that. Like this, they take on a this kind of culture, and over time, this culture just I keep doing that. I don't know why. I just keep doing that. The culture spreads quite wide, and it's this big now. It's like spanning all of this. And why I'm setting up these cultures in South Africa is because these cultures will determine like this area's whole goal, basically. Because if you have the same culture, you can like take in the same people that, or the different people who have the same culture or type of culture. But some people may have different cultures, like these two people and this people. And yeah, we're having to look at that. But for the political layer, you may have noticed that this guy is kind of cultural right now, and it's the only nation here, and that's because this is the only tribal union in all of the world, and it's kind of that because this area is fully unified. Even though if we look at that's kind of ethnically divided. But if we go over to ethnicities, quickly just do this and flip, pull up. As you can see, this guy has some of its lands that aren't in its own culture. These areas are very resistant towards it because they have their own culture. They are different. But this guy quickly just takes over the areas over here. And since it cannot get to these areas, it kind of just it uses the waters to get over here. And for the first time in these guys' thing, they go after a different ethnicity's lands, and they do some very bad stuff. They just push into these areas and fight their way in. To these ethnicities being a bit big, we see that yes, these people do work a lot for the same goals or anything similar, but quickly we see a large grouping of tribes around them go and make a small tribal alliance to get rid of them. So this tribal alliance will try and get rid of these guys while these guys try to defend themselves. We first see a invasion by raiding parties to get rid of these tribes in these lands. It goes well, but eventually they get pushed out. And over here the same thing happens. These guys don't get pushed out, they actually link up their alliance areas. And this is kind of not an alliance in the form or shape that it should be. It's more like a compromise between some tribes to attack this land. But due to them getting rid of the tribes over here that are ethnically closer to this guy gets very mad, and a few chieftains go and start campaigns against these guys. Eventually one manages to gather over 1,000 tribal men, and this chieftain goes on a rampage because he was the one leading a charge over here. So he'll go and attack these guys, get rid of these areas, and then he'll turn his attention south because this guy is the most problematic from them. They have done two things, and that's kind of hold on to these areas and attack over here. So he doesn't like that, and he goes attacks, and he manages to cut these areas in thrice, managing to destroy both of the smaller areas and pushing in from the south with his men. While he was doing that, these guys tried to break out over here, but a new chieftain that managed to be elected around here, because yes, there are chieftains. There's a grand chieftain who rules over every other chieftain, and the chieftains are elected by the people. So kind of a empire-like democracy. But this guy gets very much repelled by the elected chieftain. And the chieftain that was elected sends a few people to attack these areas. And the chieftain down here does the same, but when they cut off these guys, they are like, oh, if we're here, then that means we have done this, and yeah, this happens. They kind of destroyed these guys. And with this comes the unfortunate thing of the ethnicities down here. This is what happens to them. They just lose. They are driven from the lands. They are either killed, driven, or thrown out of their own homes. Their villages where tribes are burnt down. Tribal people get slaughtered, and it just becomes a big attack on the people. There's also the fact that some of these areas are yes, under these guys, but they don't attack this guy. They actually go after the ethnicity over here, just because they can. And when this guy sends its people over here, not this guy, these people came over here. and start to make their own things. They did not expect for a part of them to actually become a different ethnicity. This ethnicity quickly broke the areas over here in 3 other smaller ethnicities, but due to these guys not knowing how to speak each other's languages now, and this guy not knowing how to speak with them, these guys tried to do some rebellions and tried to break away. These two kinda got effed over, while this guy managed to hold on to very little areas, this ethnicity. And this guy, the guy who's in charge of these areas, the chieftain, is told that your areas over here will be not ignored, but you will have to listen to us if you want to keep them. If you don't, we will destroy you. And yeah, he's kind of bribed to do another rebellion that just gets his people exiled. And yeah, that's a lot of bad stuff. And as we can see, we have this thing still going, this tribal war. Now, it's around the time that I should tell you that this war is known by the people around here as the Great Death of the peace of this area, as this invasion over here and this invasion caused these two peoples, these two areas, to put it in perspective, these areas, these 3 ethnicities, and this ethnicity over here, to hate this ethnicity with all of their being. They just hate them. This guy and this guy are okay with them. It's just these 5 guys, 4 actually, I'm sorry, who hate these guys, the 5th guy. And we quickly see that a lot goes on over here, a lot of fighting goes on, and eventually these areas are conquered by the great chieftain himself, Analuktuk. Analuktuk is the name of the great chieftain. Great chieftains are elected by the chieftains, and the chieftains are elected by the people, basically. But a great chieftain, once elected, does not get thrown out of his own areas. And this chieftain is Analuktuk is known as the great chieftain of these areas because he freed, quote unquote, freed these areas from damnation, and he brought in a very weird age of these people just joining. And as you can see, these areas are not even part of it. This whole thing. But if we go over here, as you can see, these are the taken areas, and this guy just expels these people. I know, very cruel, very bad, but due to the expelling, these 2 people kinda now hate each other because, well, these people had to go somewhere. These people just wanted their land back, so they pushed in. There was a picture here, which was this guy's. So a large tribal battle of ethnicities happened, and eventually we see that both ethnicities kind of just scattered their own people around, and well, this is the result of that. Many ethnicities kind of just don't really see any reason to keep on to these areas that they have. Some they are nomadic peoples, like these people, the blue people, who are nomads. So they actually are born in a tribe that then is nomadic, that moves through their areas that are theirs, and then sometimes they move out of their areas, but that's occasionally, and they don't do it a lot. So adding a lot of raw here. But before we end the video, because I'm kind of getting tired of right now, we'll see that some of these areas around here are actually discovered a bit more, and some people actually go up here to see, oh, there's more water. And these people are the nomads that I talked about. They are from here. And eventually they move up even more north, until they move into these areas that get more and more lakey as they go on. That's until they meet this lake and they're like, whoa, what's going on here? And people start to get to know these areas a lot more and better, and eventually what happens is that these areas are now known about, and all of this being a lake is known about, and people are like, whoa, this is so good, maybe we should do a lot more exploration. And the age of exploration of tribes and migration is the first age to begin after the stone time. Well, not the stone times, this is still the stone age. But stone times sees that the first real age of theirs is the age of great migration. People start to pop up where they shouldn't be. More and more people just start to live in areas they wouldn't normally live, and eventually it's gotten to the point where some of these areas that are being discovered, like over here, are just very unrealistically discovered. People just go out here and like, oh, this is our ocean, and then they go back over here and find about this. And quickly we see that this exploration migration doesn't stop at all. It just continues going, and for one thing, it goes on for a long time until like a very specific year. I don't know what year, but I say year. Around 100, not 100, 500 PH is when. And not on 100 PH, but this river is also discovered by people just going here and meeting up. But I'd say around, if the previous video went up to 80, then this goes up to 700. Yeah, 700 PH. So we are now in the PH 700s, and yeah, it's getting a bit better. And also people start to move up here, and these guys think, oh, it's getting a bit weird that there's no ocean yet. Until they just say, yo, we came from here and moved all the way over here, then got back over here. What the hell is going on? And the first desert exploration happens, and also Nile River. They explore by the Nile River. The river of the Nile. That's where they do their explorations. But as you can see, Central Africa is getting explored a bit more, and I think the first West African areas to be discovered are over here in Nigeria, and some other area. Yeah, Nigeria, and we see that Nigeria, the Nigerian areas are so well known about that. People start to settle here, and the first people that settle will be known as the great Nigerians. The first great Nigerians, and that's because the Nigerian peoples. I'm gonna talk about that in the next video. I'm gonna give this area a lot of exploration. Well, not give, but these guys are gonna explore a lot. But as we see, the Arab peoples, the Arabic peoples, they move over here and start to explore a bit more. They go a bit more north. Oh, they find out that this over here is like north. Okay, this is where it is. And they go on until they meet the areas where Qatar is. They find out about Qatar. They're like, oh, this is cool. They found out about Qatar, and they go on to find a lot more. It gets substantially colder until they reach the Mesopotamian areas, and we see the first Mesopotamians and Persians start to exist over here. The Persian expansion has been done, but the Mesopotamians just are the people who are called the Mesopotamians. They are what are the people that are being called over here. The Mesopotamians, that's what they're being called. And the Mesopotamians, well, they're a pretty funny bunch of people, in the sense that they are very funny in how they talk. But as we can see, uh, the oh my god, my nose is itchy. But we see that the Arabic, Arabic peoples are going to inhabit more of the coast over here, and they're also going to move into the areas that they weren't before, aka over here. And these areas, they are discovered without kind of fail. Now, these Arabs are kinda weird in the sense that they just go over here to Qatar and just start to inhabit it, and when they're done, they just inhabit the rest of these areas. Oh, can I get my single piece of damn stuff? No, I cannot get my piece of life. My life is peaceful. But we do see that some Arab peoples will actually go up to here, find out about these areas. Now, this is all in the span of about a year that they find out about the Mesopotamian areas. But the Mesopotamian ethnicity is what comes out of these areas. And I'll tell you, for the future, these Mesopotamian people will be the most chaotic, as they will be so diverse, not gonna lie. And they first are going to stay on the areas around the rivers over here. That will give them substantial ethnic. I cannot speak. I cannot speak properly. I hate how I talk. Not gonna lie, I hate that I keep on like stumbling my words. I cannot talk normally. But the Mesopotamians will inhabit the river areas around their own areas. But we see that Sinai peoples eventually just land over here, do some stuff, start inhabitation of these desert areas, and the Egyptians, not very much. But we see a second Mesopotamian ethnicity. These guys are a different but similar ethnicity to the Arabs of before that went over there. They have been here for like 10 years. And yeah, that's it for these areas. But as I said, European expansion of knowledge about European lands is happening. And that's because yeah, people have started to go a bit more north. They now know about these areas, and some people actually went far enough to go over to Sweden. They have now gone over to where Stockholm is and Outland, but they haven't discovered the island over here. That will be discovered after a long while. And they do know about Atland or whatever. And we see that people just start to move into these areas. They are known as the great peoples of these areas. Now, some of the Danish islands are explored, but nobody knows what's beyond these. The people who move over here are like, oh, these are just Danish areas. The Dutch areas and Belgian areas are also discovered about. Britain isn't discovered yet. We see that France and northern Italy are discovered. Calling caps here because northern Italy is not discovered just yet. That is not discovered, as well as southern Europe. But the Neanderthals do move up into these areas. They see a lot of the Alps, and mostly they also move into Brittany and these other Normandian areas. And we eventually see that a lot of these areas will be discovered, and one primary ethnicity will actually go over here. That is these guys, who I just tell you may just be the first peoples to ever come into these areas. Now I have 2 minutes left, but we do see that a Mari peoples does come over here and makes the first Polish ethnicity exist. Now there is a different Polish ethnicity that is around here. We also have a German ethnicity. Well, two German ethnicities there are two. There's this Northern German ethnicity, and there's also a well, I'm not gonna say that the Danes are ethnically German, but there's also a Southern German ethnicity. And this marks the end of this video. I'm sorry guys that I couldn't do much more, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, and I'll see you guys next time. Plus, if you enjoyed, pick up the stone that is the like button, throw it against the subscribe button that is 3, and I'll see you guys next time.